Hello and welcome to another episode of Export Digest, your #1 program that periscopes the non-oil export sector. On this program, we propose non-oil exports as Nigeria's alternative foreign exchange earner. We highlight the opportunities and explore strategies to exploit these opportunities. We also seek to identify and profile solutions to challenges in the export sector to enable practitioners and policymakers alike to craft a way forward in improving on their respective roles. I am Mayokun Akwaterabo. In reviving Nigeria's economy, every instrument that can be activated to make this objective possible is in the best interest of every business entity. The nation needs the concerted efforts of all stakeholders. The African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, is a United States Trade Act enacted on 18th May 2000 as Public Law 106 of the 200th Congress. AGOA has since been renewed to the year 2025. The legislation significantly enhances market access to the U.S. for qualifying sub-Saharan African countries. Qualification for AGOA preferences is based on a set of conditions contained in the AGOA legislation, and in order to qualify and remain eligible for AGOA, each country must be working to improve its rule of law, human rights, and respect for core labor standards.
This is a moment of great promise for Africa. The extraordinary talents of men and women all across this continent are being unleashed. Africa is rising, and in our global economy, more growth and opportunity in Africa means more growth and opportunity for everyone. AGOA has played a key role in supporting African growth. It's increased economic cooperation and trade between the United States and Africa, encouraged vital government reforms so more businesses succeed, and made it easier for African goods to reach the U.S. So AGOA isn't just good business for Africa, it's good business for America. Now we have an opportunity to unleash the next era of African growth together. As we work to renew AGOA in 2015, and continue integrating Africa into the global economy, we also want to make sure that the benefits of Africa's growth reach all parts of the society. That's why I announced 2 new initiatives on my trip: Trade Africa, to increase trade among African countries, and Power Africa, to double access to electricity in sub-Saharan Africa. They're part of America's commitment to help remove barriers to trade and spark new investment in Africa. Of course, the real answer to unlocking the next era of African growth is not in Washington. It's here in Africa. The discussions you have here will help chart our way forward, and I want you to know that as you work to make Africa the world's next major economic success story, you'll always have a partner in the United States of America.
While the eligibility requirements are set out in the legislation, it is the United States which determines annually whether countries have met the published eligibility requirements. Beneficiary status may therefore be granted or withdrawn at the discretion of the U.S. President. Beneficiary countries have no recourse to dispute settlement in this regard, and this unpredictability is one aspect that differentiates AGOA's non-reciprocal preferences to those contained in reciprocal and bilateral trade agreements. Suffice to say that AGOA beneficiary status has, thus far, been awarded to about 40 countries. This number changes from time to time. On October 2, 2000, former U.S. President Bill Clinton designated 34 sub-Saharan African countries as eligible for the trade benefits provided under AGOA. Shortly afterwards, on January 18, 2001, Swaziland was designated as the 35th AGOA eligible country. And on May 16, 2002, Côte d'Ivoire was designated as the 36th AGOA eligible country. Côte d'Ivoire subsequently lost and later regained beneficiary status. The Gambia was declared eligible on January 1, 2003, while the inclusion of the Democratic Republic of Congo was subsequently backdated to January 1, 2003. Anyway, the DRC has since lost its status. On 31st December 2003, the Central African Republic and Eritrea were removed as AGOA beneficiaries, followed later by Mali and Madagascar, while Angola was included. Other additions to this list are Burkina Faso and Burundi, while Mauritania has been suspended. In December 2006, the Republic of Liberia was also added. Countries not eligible for AGOA are Zimbabwe and Sudan, although South Sudan has since been granted beneficiary status but has lost it again from 2015 onwards, as did the Gambia. Guinea-Bissau regained eligibility, as did Madagascar earlier in 2014. Swaziland has also been suspended from AGOA preferences applicable from 2015. On the 30th of September 2015, Seychelles was graduated out of AGOA effective 1st January 2017 due to the country gaining developed country status. So, where is the place of Nigeria within the AGOA?
The Africa Growth and Opportunity Act was actually signed into law on the 6th of May in the year 2000. That means that AGOA has been in existence since the past 16 years. Initially, it was supposed to last until 2008. An extension was granted and AGOA was extended to 2015, and now it has again been extended until 2025. Nigeria, from the onset, has been an AGOA eligible country, as in Nigeria was accredited from the onset to enjoy the benefits of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which, by the way, provides import duty-free access to selected products. And the word selected there seems to limit it. It is not that limited. About 6,500 different commodities and products are actually AGOA eligible. So for about 6,500 products. At the onset, the most attractive was textile. And somehow Nigeria's textile industry was still thriving in the year 2000 and should have taken advantage of AGOA. However, as of today, whatever is recorded for Nigeria under the AGOA scheme is actually about 95% Nigeria's crude oil exports, which to all intent and purposes negates the intention of using the AGOA to help African countries to improve their rural industrialization, create employment, and then help people to produce basic consumables, including wares and apparels, for import into the American market. In the first 6 years of AGOA, Nigeria was actually not able to get the visa accreditation that was necessary for her textiles to go into the AGOA market. And the reason was as simple as it was baffling. The reason was quite simply because Nigeria could not designate a visa signatory, because to get into the textile angle of AGOA, the country needed to have a visa, just like the human beings have a visa for its textiles to enter into America free of duty. And to get this done, the country needed to have a standing steering committee, and I was privileged to have been one of those appointed on the Presidential Steering Committee on AGOA under the Obasanjo administration. And that committee did all it could to ensure that we got a visa. The insistence, as they insist today, is that an officer be designated who will be the signatory on all AGOA transactions. It took so long to get that sorted out in the Nigerian system. So as of today, the status is that Nigeria is not enjoying up to, I would say, 5% of the benefits that she stands to reap from the AGOA market, which is actually a specialized market opportunity for Nigeria's exports.
To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes, and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
It is of value to look deeply into the benefits of Nigeria harnessing the provisions of AGOA.
We have always said it, the major problem for the Nigerian exporter is, where am I exporting to? And AGOA provides a very ready answer. AGOA is a market opportunity as well as a market that will receive about 6,500 different products. Now imagine that each state of Nigeria was able to develop a specific product for AGOA. Let's take, for example, even clustering the states to market to AGOA. Let's take our staple food, garri, that comes from cassava. What other derivatives can we get from cassava? Is it now possible for our support institutions, TSIs, they call them, trade support institutions, to actually negotiate a particular quantity of cassava, of palm oil, of cashew, of garments, school uniforms, military boots, that Nigerian companies can then be helped to produce to meet the specifications of the AGOA market in such a way that we can then begin to, like I said, cluster production, so that we can allocate the shoe cluster in Aba, for example, that we now have an order over the next 10 years to produce 10 million pairs of military boots. That is how we can prepare to enter the AGOA market. There are too many products that Nigeria has the capacity, comparative advantage. I don't know about the competitive edge, but we have the comparative advantage in so many products that I think that it is an aberration that Nigeria is not taking as much as advantage as is being presented. AGOA is a very large single market. It's as almost the same thing as saying that I am selling to America. And it is easy to aggregate what we are going to sell to the AGOA market. I am still baffled that after all these years, we have done TIFA. TIFA is one of the platforms that Nigeria and the USA actually meet. I think it's a biennial meeting now, if I remember well, to fashion out a way to increase exports to the United States of America. I don't know. Am I wondering, or is that the truth? Even the companies in America, the American companies, not many of them are aware of the benefits to them of importing from Nigeria under AGOA. I think that a lot of work still needs to be done.
Hello, I'm Denise.
My name is Yinka Titiloye.
I'm a farmer. Welcome to the Itagro Model Farm.
I'm Craig Waters from Oklahoma State University.
Watch Export Digest.
Watch Export Digest.
Watch Export Digest.
So, since we have established the immense good that AGOA can bring to Nigeria's export businesses, what is the reality on ground?
Being a very large single market, AGOA, now we have turned it into a market. Remember, the acronym is Africa Growth and Opportunity Act. Actually provides a lot of benefits for existing Nigerian exporters and even the intending ones. The basic idea behind AGOA is to ensure that goods up to about 6,500 different types, including even the mineral water that we drink, are able to come into the American market without paying import duties. This is a specialized preference. This is an opportunity being offered. This is a competitiveness tool that says, for example, if somebody were to bring a police uniform from China into America, he will pay 35% import duty. If it is coming from the accredited countries in Africa, they don't pay anything. So it will continue to hold immense opportunities for Nigeria. American market is so large, almost as large as that of China. Almost the kind of advantage that other people see in Nigeria and why they always come to dump into Nigeria, a single market of about 178 million. America is much, much higher than that. So selling to AGOA, of course, gives you the opportunity of targeting a market size that it is only you who will determine how much you want of that market size.
As quickly as possible, all loopholes must be plugged. Serious action plan needs to be regenerated, as we believe that instruments like AGOA will bring real economic opportunities that can be harnessed by the ever so ready exporters.
Well, again, to harness AGOA, it's very simple. We need to build the capacity of our exporters. We need them to understand that it is not just that the market is there. It is how we prepare, how we present, how we label, what is the quality of the things that we are taking into the American market. So the trade support institutions need to work together more closely. I think we have done too much advocacy. I think everybody now knows that AGOA is a market. I think it is time. AGOA, for example, can actually help Nigeria to develop a very thriving and large garment industry. We have hundreds, thousands of young people today who they don't call themselves tailors anymore. They are fashion designers. But they are working in isolation. Pockets of brilliant young men. It is time for the trade. Again, I'm going back to government. It is time for government to look at all these people. I use once again the shoe cluster in Aba. I use them as example. There was a time that Nigeria had a very thriving plastic industry. Plastic containers, for example, can go into the AGOA market. Our adiretai and dye batik can go into there. So there is also the very, very need for us, a very crying need for us to help use the availability of the AGOA market to develop Nigerian exporters to produce specifically for that market.
My name is Ken Okauha, the president of the National Association of Nigerian Traders, NANS.
I have been a C. Urwapa, personal development trainer, public affairs analyst, and an entrepreneur.
Keep watching
Export Digest.
Export Digest.
Don't change it out.
To register as an exporter from Nigeria, your first port of call is, by law, the Corporate Affairs Commission. Let us visit the Commission again to learn another in the several contributions and provisions that the agency puts in place to improve Nigeria's business environment.
Our focus in this last quarter is the integration of electronic stamping and document and development and deployment of document upload interface. The electronic stamping interface will enable customers to stamp their documents through the company registration portal without having to visit the Federal Inland Revenue Service to submit these documents for assessment and payment. If once that is achieved, as we have said, company registration can be done in a matter of hours, not days. So the FIRS, we've gotten confirmation from the vendor that the platform is up and running, but they need to demonstrate what they have done so that we will now engage them to do the necessary interconnection between our own portal and the stamp duty portal. So once that is done, customers will be able to pay their stamp duties, get their documents stamped electronically without having to visit the FIRS. Then the second issue is the document upload interface. At present, customers could key in their registration information. They can download these forms, but when they download, they have to submit it to CAC for processing. We are integrating a document upload interface to the company registration portal that will allow customers to upload these documents. They will scan and upload so that they don't even need to submit these documents before company registration. Once the documents are uploaded, the Commission will download them, will view them, and will approve the registration and generate a certificate. So even if a customer needs to submit any document, he will only submit them in exchange for his original certificate. So we already have the scan images. We will use it to register the company, issue a certificate, and at the point of collection of the certificate, the customer will exchange the originals because we are still obliged to keep these originals. So these are the two key issues. The third issue has to do with extension of start to finish services to additional 14 offices before the end of this year. At present, only our offices in Abuja, in Lagos, in Kano, in Kaduna, Enugu, Port Harcourt, they are the only offices that can start and finish registration. We are planning to extend these services to additional 14 offices before the end of the year, such that those offices will also be able to start and finish registration without recourse to Abuja. If you file your application, but before the end of the year, if you file your application in Ibadan or in Abeokuta or in Ekiti or in Maiduguri or Bauchi or Jos, you don't need anything from the head office. That office will be able to approve, issue a certificate, seal that certificate, and dispatch it to the customer without recourse to Abuja. So these are the key three issues that we intend to put in place before the end of the year. The last one has to do with the post-incorporation. We are deploying about 8 post-incorporation processes on the company registration portal before the end of the year, including annual returns, change of directors, increase in share capital, registration of charges, appointment of secretary, change of address. So these things will be available on the portal so that customers will be able to initiate these transactions and conclude them directly on the portal. They don't have to bring these documents to CAC for filing. So these are the four key issues that we hope to deploy before the end of the year. Most of them are advanced stage of completion. So by the time they are completed, some will be available within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're actually testing some of them. They have already been developed. So before the end of the year, all these things will be in place, and it will make life very easier for our people.
We have come to the end of yet another episode of Export Digest, and this is where we call it a day today. We hope that you were able to improve your knowledge about concepts and initiatives to benefit your export performance or motivate you to export if you're still at the stage of taking the decision. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be rest assured that we are committed to our determination to continue to expand your knowledge and enhance your readiness to export. Remember, you can watch this particular episode and others before it on our YouTube channel. Visit www.youtube.com/Export Digest and continue to send in your comments, observations, and contributions as we also march on towards making Nigeria a viable exporting nation and lead our viewers into the hidden secrets of export treasures. Our channels of communication are open and now showing on your screen. Many thanks to our support who help to keep Export Digest on air. Remember, by showcasing your businesses, goods and services on this program, you will not only be helping us pay for our airtime and cost of production, you will also be expanding the corporate mileage you get for your brand, products and services. So we invite you to come on board by calling us today. You will be glad you did. Join us same time on this same channel next week for another eye-opening package of Export Digest. I remain Mayokun Akpoterapo. God bless you.